It almost felt like yesterday when we saw Ash finally beat Leon and become world champion like no one ever was. It was a great moment to say the least, but unfortunately all things came to an end when it was later announced that Ash would be leaving the Pokemon anime as the MC. Pokemon fans across the world were devastated, and rightfully so too. I mean, who could blame them? Ash leaving the spotlight felt as if their childhood was being slipped away from them. After that announcement, the Pokemon community were very split, because later then it would be announced that a new Pokemon anime would be coming under the name the Pokemon Horizon series. And everyone was fuming because it was shown that there were two new characters that were going to take Ash's place as the new main characters of the Pokemon series. This announcement made two opposing sides, one believing that Ash leaving was actually a good idea and that his retirement would be beneficial for the future of Pokemon, while the other side disagreed and said that Ash leaving would only be the downfall of the Pokemon series because it was the only thing keeping Pokemon alive. These two opposing sides have only grown ever since Ash's departure, and in today's video I won't just be addressing both opposing sides, I'll be giving my stance on this topic and what I believe is the right one. Remember to subscribe if you like this video, but anyways, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into it. Now before we give my verdict, we have to address both sides, so let's start with the one that is in favor of Ash's departure. So the ones in favor of Ash's departure is saying that Ash leaving is actually beneficial for the Pokemon series, because now that Ash has been around for 20 plus years, the Pokemon anime has gone stale. And in order to keep interest with the audience, we need new refreshing characters to bring more life into the series. There's also a few other arguments like Ash's story is already concluded, so there'd be no reason to actually bring him back for round 2. But then there's a small group of people that believe Ash was never a good character and that they're happy that he's gone and that there's new characters to take his place that are actually better written than what Ash was, which I think is a little, well, we'll get into what I think later. But other than that, overall, I think these arguments are very compelling and honestly very good arguments. But enough of that, let's get into the other opposing side, the one not in favor of Ash's departure. Now, what they believe is obviously very different from the other side, because they believe that the only reason that the anime and the movies have been so successful is because of Ash's existence. And that without Ash, the success that the Pokemon Company has received in the past won't come into fruition in Pokemon Horizons. There's also people that have been saying that removing Ash out of the picture would take away from the audience and not only be a bad business decision, but a bad decision for the community. And then there's also the people that just love Ash and have been around with Ash for long periods of time, and that they're just not ready to let him go yet. And again, these arguments are just as good because not only do they come from a non-biased perspective, also from a reasonable biased perspective. Now both sides are obviously going to have at least a tinge of biasness, but that doesn't discount how great these arguments are. Now I just want to say that I don't necessarily think either side is bad, but I will be giving my stance on this topic, but first, let me give my thoughts on each side a little bit. Now first I want to talk about the side in favor of Ash's departure, but I mainly want to talk about the people that think that Ash doesn't have good writing. Now first and foremost, if you think that Ash leaving is a good idea purely because you think that he has bad writing, I just want to say you are very mistaken, because XYZ and Sinnoh, Diamond and Pearl have both shown Ash's growth throughout the entirety of the series. Now I will say Ash's writing is a bit inconsistent, sure, but Ash has had so many peaks throughout the entirety of the series it's not even funny. Like XYZ and Pokemon Journeys connect so much, as well as Sun and Moon, because in XYZ, Ash was stuck on being such a sore loser, but after the Snowbell arc, he realized that it's not just about winning or losing, it's about putting your all into everything you have and just having fun. And even after losing the XY League, he wasn't mad or disappointed in himself. He learned from his mistakes, and then going into Sun and Moon, he learned from everything that happened in XY, which caused him to win the league in Sun and Moon. And then after that, he became world champion, because Ash always learns. But now there's also something I don't agree with on the side that is not in favor of Ash's departure. Now there's one argument in particular that doesn't make sense, which is the Pokemon anime is going to fall off now that Ash isn't here, which I don't believe is true at all, and here's why. Now for starters, just like how people grew up with Ash Ketchum, people are going to grow up with Liko and Roy. The Pokemon anime won't go downhill from here because there's going to be a new audience that are going to love Liko and Roy. Not only that, but the anime has good directors and good producers surrounding it, and it has great animation so far. Like, take a look at this scene with Ceruledge. Like, there has been incredible fight scenes in the series so far. Remember, it's still Pokemon at the end of the day, and there's still going to be a lot of people that have worked on the previous projects that's working on this one. so I truly believe that Horizons will be here to stay for a good amount of time. Will there be a few dips and decline? Sure, but will the Pokemon anime be here to stay? Also yes. But those are my thoughts on both opposing sides. Now let's talk about who I agree with and my stance on this topic. Now, the side I agree with is both. Now listen, I know that sounds a bit weird, but let me explain. I do agree that Ash should have left and been replaced by a new MC, but I heavily hated the way they did it. Now here's the thing, the way they should have gone around to do things was to have Ash win the XY League and then have Sun and Moon be the actual journeys. The main reason being is that Horizons is literally just journeys, and although there's a new set of characters and a whole different plot, at its core, the traveling and everything is very similar to journeys. What worked with Ash's journey is that he wanted to be the strongest trainer around, which is a simple yet very enjoyable goal, because you're watching him progress as a character in his goal and attempt to become the best trainer. But Liko's goal is very different because she wants to be very in sync with her Pokemon and come to understand Pokemon better, which is something that the whole and entirety of Ash's journey is about as well, not just battling. So, yeah. Now, I'm not saying Liko is a bad character, but I'm saying her character is very bland and is filled with stuff that we've already seen in the past, alongside Horizons having a lot of the same vibe as Journeys. All in all, what I'm trying to say here is that Horizons is a lot of what the old was, and there's no real reason to actually watch Horizons. It's not really anything too new, and the characters are fun, and the overall anime isn't bad, it's just like very mediocre. Horizons would have worked with the adventurous aspect if Journeys never existed. Granted, I think Journeys was really important to Ash's journey in the conclusion. The pendant secrets are just not enough to actually captivate you into the story. The reason why something as simple as being the strongest works is because it's a simple yet very good trope to use as a basis for your anime. And also the secrets behind the pendant and the whole chosen one trope behind that, I don't think it's as good as Greninja and Ash's development with the fusion they had. The bond phenomenon was something that nobody really knew existed, and the impact that it left off on not only the region of Kalos, but also just the growth between Ash and Greninja, it's just phenomenal. But hey, that's just one stance of many. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, I don't hate Horizons. Don't take this as a hate video. I am actually watching the anime right now, and it's pretty enjoyable. But I find it just lacking a lot of good elements that make it truly theirs. That's all. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a comment and subscribe, and make sure to tell me like your opinion on Ash's departure, and also how's Horizons for you guys. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it lacking something? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, guys, I'll see you. Peace.